Welcome back, guys. I was a little bit away just because of the holidays and stuff. I had some plans to do some videos, but ultimately I got distracted. But we're back, and just like Barcelona, we are back. And today we're going to talk about the game Barcelona versus Espanyol. They go to Cornellà al Prat, which is the stadium for Espanyol. It's the Catalan derby, huge rivalry from throughout history, and to add some of the drama, Espanyol was kind of not very happy with the whole situation with JOAN Garcia. Obviously, JOAN Garcia was the goalkeeper of the season last year. For a lot of people, I don't know if he actually won the award. I think he did. But for a lot of people, he was the number one last year. And for that reason, Barcelona went and bought him. I think it was 50 or 60 mil. And with Ter Stegen coming back with a not so bad season by Szczesny. However, both keepers, especially Szczesny, they're in their older side, so Barcelona wanted to invest in young talent for the goal, and they got him. And you saw it today. You saw today what Barcelona paid for, and you saw today why Espanyol was so upset about it. To begin with, this game had already some little bit of drama at the beginning of it because of JOAN Garcia leaving to crosstown rivals. A lot of the Espanyol fans in the media kind of compared it to the whole Luis Figo and Luis Figo with the Real Madrid Barcelona transfer. I don't think it's the same thing. To Espanyol fans, it might feel that way. But you're talking about the two biggest teams in Spain, the biggest rivalry in Spain, or one of them. Barcelona and Espanyol is not so much of a big rivalry just because of the levels. You have Barcelona who are a huge team in Spain, and Espanyol who are usually a mid-table team, or within the top half at most. So it's not the same thing as going from Barcelona to Real Madrid. But I do see how people feel that way. And for that reason, this game was really tough. It was really, really intense. There was a tense atmosphere. The stadium looked like a very difficult stadium to play in. Honestly, I was looking at it and it felt tough. It felt tough for the players coming back from about a week and a half, 2 weeks of vacation, probably like a week of training before that, but no games for 2 weeks. So it was not an easy game to play for Barcelona, but they got it, man. They got the game, and they got an important win, man, because it was at the 85th minute that they scored. Before that, I think we were already signing off for a 0-0. We're like, okay, what's a 0-0 look like? Not only what's the 0-0 look like, what's the 0-0 feel like? Because, okay, you get the 0-0, right? You get the tie. You get the 1 point. We're 4 points above Real Madrid. We get the 1 point. We're 5 above. But if they win tomorrow, 3 points for Real Madrid, and all of a sudden, instead of having a 4-point gap, which is a game and a half, you have a 2-point gap, which is less than a game. So that doesn't look good. But not only that, what does it feel like? We're going into now the Spanish Super Cup. So what does the Spanish Super Cup feel like if in La Liga you just lost 2 points? It was gonna be a thing where it was gonna be a tough road to go on to the Super Cup having lost points. And that's why it's such a huge win, because this win, not only it's a last minute win, it's a clutch win. But it gives you hope for what's to come. It gives you hope in your trainer, because once again Hansi Flick gets this game, gets this win for Barcelona. It's Hansi. It's literally Hansi Flick. We got to talk about the guy. He is literally the reason Barcelona a lot of times gets these 3 points, because of his substitutions. Not so much his tactics. His tactics don't vary that much. Like, he might move players around here and there, but they don't vary that much. Everybody kind of knows what they got to do. What he does is that he sets up lineups to get the best out of the team in certain situations. So, and this is a game where Hansi was limiting playing time for a lot of players. Pedri didn't start. He only played 30 minutes or less, about 30 minutes because of the added minutes. So 30 minutes for Pedri. He's going to be fresh for the Super Cup. 30 minutes for Olmo. He's back from his his shoulder injury. Fermin is back. Gave him 45 minutes, about 50 minutes with the added time. Lewan got 30 minutes. Rashford got 45 minutes and gets taken off. Rashford didn't have that good of a game, but I think what Hansi does with Rashford is that he basically moves him in a way that sometimes he's a starter, sometimes he's a super sub, but he feels important, he feels used, he feels useful, because a player like Rashford, let's be real, that's a starting player in most teams, Marcus Rashford. So, but obviously Rashford's got to fight against Ferran, who's doing it well at the 9. He has to fight against Lewandowski, who's fighting positions with Ferran. He's got to do it against Rafinha, which, let's be real, Rafinha beats him. He can play in the right, but he really doesn't. And that's where Lamine Yamal plays. We're seeing Rooney Bargi, who's struggling to get minutes against Lamine Yamal. So let's be real, Rashford's not a starter on this team. But despite all of that, Hansi Flick finds ways to give Rashford his opportunities. And that's super important for a player like Rashford to feel used, to feel wanted. So he gets the first 45 minutes. Granted, they weren't the best 45 minutes and they weren't the best minutes for Rashford in this season. But from what I've been analyzing, and I think I've said it before in other videos, is that Rashford seems like the type of player that is going to be the most useful in Champions League against European teams, not necessarily Spanish teams. European teams play more open sometimes. There's a lot of room for counterattacking. There's a lot more space. And I feel like Rashford is a physical type of player in that sense where we can get the best out of him in those type of games. Maybe in Spanish soccer where, especially when you're playing away, the fields are a lot more crunched. The teams are a lot more compact. They're pressuring more. And Rashford is not the best player when it comes to minimal amount of space. I feel like a lot of these Barca players from this team right here, this generation of Barca players, are not really good in small spaces, and we still get it done. Like, Betty's amazing, right? Ferran gets it done. Fermin gets it done. When you have Gavi there, he's good. Olmo's okay, but other players, Lamine struggles in tight spaces. Let's be real. He's not the best in tight space. He needs a little bit of space. The minute he gets double teamed, triple teamed, it's very difficult for him. Lewandowski needs space. He needs space on the ball for him to take shots. And because of that, I think that's the reason Rashford has been struggling in La Liga. Now, if we're talking about Champions League, he's been doing really well, and I think Rashford is going to have a good Spanish Super Cup. I have a feeling. So, as we were saying, a very intense start to the game. A lot of drama because of JOAN GARCIA. But not only that, there were some comments where, I don't know if it was a coach or a player or somebody had mentioned something. They're like, would you rather step on JOAN GARCIA or step on Lamine Yamal? And they said, oh yeah, we'd rather step on Lamine Yamal. Pretty much kind of talking about physical threats and stuff. Now, let's be real, dude. They're heating up the game. It's part of it. That's part of the beauty of football. The beauty of sports is that trash talk before the game. So it's fine. I'm not saying that they should all go to jail for it, but it was part of the game, and it was part of the things that heat up the game. So from the start, the game was crazy. They put up barriers so that people wouldn't throw things, but things got thrown onto the field. Regardless, just bottles, stuff like that. Nothing big. I thought it was going to be a lot more hostile than what it was, but I think rather than it being physically hostile or psychologically hostile, it was just a great game by Espanyol. Espanyol defended well, they attacked well, and if not for JOAN GARCIA, an MVP match for JOAN GARCIA, we're talking about Espanyol taking 3 points easily, because the saves that he does. Joan Garcia had, I think, one or two one-on-ones, but one in specific where it's literally two players against Joan Garcia. Two Espanyol players. And he shrinks the space, does the dive, and steals the ball from his feet with his hand. It was just crazy. Crazy, honestly. And until the 85th minute, I was looking at this game and I'm like, dude, it's crazy that Espanyol fans are so upset about it, about Joan Garcia leaving. I feel like it's kind of disrespectful to their goalkeeper, Dimitrovic, who also had a phenomenal game. He also had some 1v1s. He also had some shots that he just takes out. It was the Eric Garcia shot. It was right in front of the net, and he dives and takes the ball out. And not to mention other shots as well. I think, let's look really quick at the stats right here. We're going to go to defense right here. Keeper saves. 4 versus 6. So Barcelona, look at that, dude. 6 saves for Joan Garcia out of total shots, 14 shots. Shots on target, 7. So 7 shots on target, 6 blocked by the keeper, and one of them, if I'm not mistaken, was blocked by Condé. And then on this side, shots on target, 6 shots on target, 4 keeper saves. And then the 2 that went in, But until then, like I said, Joan Garcia, Dimitrovic was playing just as good of a game as Joan Garcia. And I have a feeling that whoever would have won the game, one of these 2 goalkeepers would have been the MVPs of the match. So, really good. But, again, Joan Garcia shows what he's about. So, basically, really tough game. And in the first half, it was strange. Let's look at the lineups really quick, because this will explain it a little bit better. So, they started off like this. You had Joan Garcia. I give him a 10.0. I have my rankings, and I'll talk about them in a bit. We had Condé, Cubarsí, Gerard Martin, and Valdé. Condé had a really, really good game offensively. I think he had 1 or 2 shots on goal, maybe even 3. I think he had a header, he had a shot, and maybe 1 other shot as well. And just a lot of passes. He was dribbling into the box. Maybe he could have done a cross or 2 better than what he did, but really good offensively. Cubarsí and Gerard Martin, really solid in the defense, but especially Cubarsí. Cubarsí was amazing today. Untreatable. And then after, when they sub in Pedri and Olmo, Eric Garcia goes into this spot for Gerard Martin, who struggled a little bit. I think there was a one-on-one where he and Condé crash into each other, and it leaves Joan Garcia one-on-one versus the player, and that's the one he saves. I believe it was that play. But Eric Garcia, what a great game, man. Let's talk really quick about Eric Garcia, because Eric Garcia, he was playing in the midfield. He's playing for Pedri today, I guess, if you're talking about Pedri and De Jong being the starters. If not, you're talking about Eric Garcia and Pedri being the starters, because Eric Garcia, man, the pressure that he gives, that he puts against the players when the players have the ball, he's just all over the place. And De Jong is more kind of like he kind of waits there, waits for the right opportunity to intercept. He waits for the play to kind of develop, and then he decides where to go. Eric Garcia just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. And I don't know how many steals Eric Garcia had. Do they have individual player stats? Let's see. Total shots. Right, attack? No. Let's see, defense. Tackles. 3 tackles. 1 block, 9 clearances, headering clearances, interceptions, recoveries. Look at that, man. Just really good, dude. Ground duels 1, 4 out of 9, almost 50%. Aerial duels, 50%. Was fouled and committed 4 fouls. So this is pretty cool. Thank you to Faultma, by the way. But yeah, man, amazing. 7.8. I think it's an insult to Eric Garcia. De Jong, not as good as Eric Garcia, but he did his thing. De Jong really, when Pedri's not in the game, he kind of manages the tempo of the game, and it's really good. Meanwhile, Eric Garcia is just about recovery, give the ball to the person who needs the ball, and under pressure, when out of possession, he's the one who's putting the team under pressure. Lamine Yamal, once again, not the best game by Lamine Yamal. Rafinha gets taken out at the 63rd minute. Honestly, this is something I want to talk about really quick, and it's a little bit of the pressure that Hansi Flick has. In the end, he's the coach, and I trust everything Hansi Flick does. But I think if we don't get that goal at the 85th minute, I'm wondering about this. And it's why Lamine Yamal stayed instead of Rafinha. Now, we're giving rest to Rafinha. That's awesome because we're going to need him for the Spanish Super Cup. That's great. But at the same time, Lamine Yamal he's not doing that much better. He's not the same Lamine Yamal as last season. I think they're kind of figuring him out. It's just we're not seeing these epic performances by him. He's a good player. He's a great player. And he does just enough. But I feel like could be more. I don't know. Like he's not really understanding with the other players. He's not really molding with them. So I don't know. I feel like Rafinha could have stayed and Lamine Yamal could have gone. Now, what's the problem is that the last time Hansi Flick subs out Lamine Yamal, subs him out like with 5 minutes left in the game, and he got pissed about it. And that's something that now Hansi Flick has to deal with. Locker room, ego, and morale and stuff like that. So probably that's a reason why you don't take out Lamine Yamal. But at the same time, man, the coach rules, and I think Rafinha on the field with Pedri would have given Rafinha a lot more chances. I think Rafinha was missing a player like Pedri, missing a player like Fermin to associate with. So what happens is, and then Rashford, like I said, not so good. Ferran couldn't really get his feet on the ball. So that was the play for them. Right here they have Espanyol as a 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. They were kind of playing a 4-4-2 on attack or when they were pressuring, but a lot of times when they were getting attacked on, it was a lot of times a 4-1-4-1. So a lot of times they were defending with so many players in the box. So many. And it was just impossible. You had like maybe 3 to their 6 or 7 even. So it was really tough for Barca to find the spaces. But nonetheless, they found those spaces. So let me go back to really quick the rankings. So I'm giving JOAN GARCIA a 10.0. He's the man of the match for a reason. And he's my man of the match as well. 10.0. My second man of the match goes to Fermin, but we'll talk about that in a little while. Condé, I give Condé an 8.5. I think it was a solid game from him, especially on the offense, but even on the defense. He came back at the moments he had to come back. His one-on-ones were good. We felt secure. He had that goal line save. I think he had more than one. So, amazing. Cubarsí, I give him a 9.0. Amazing game by Cuba. Just really just showing that he's such a top player. He's only 18 years old. It's something that we don't really realize. Like, what's this player going to be at 25, 26 years old? He's going to be a monster. He's going to be a beast. It's going to be crazy. Possibly one of the greatest defenders that we'll ever see. I have a feeling. Gerard Martin didn't have that much of a good game, especially according to FotMob. I give him an 8.0. He did his thing, but he gets taken out, I guess, in the 60th minute, 63rd minute for Dani Olmo. Talk about that in a bit. Balde, I give him an 8.0. He's good. He's not the same Balde as last year, but he's all right. Defensively, he could be better, but maybe he's not good in the 1v1s defensively. But what he is good at is he comes back. He's good at pressuring, and with Rashford helping him today, he did pretty well. Eric Garcia, I give him a 9.5. Just to not give him a 10 because Joan got a 10, but Eric Garcia could easily get a 10 from me, honestly. De Jong, Frank De Jong, give him an 8.0. Not bad. Rafinha, I give him a 7.0. Lamine Yamal, I give him a 7.0. I'm going to be honest. They weren't very convincing, these two players. Rashford is 6.5, and I gave Ferran a 6.5. Now let's talk about the subs. The subs that came in were Fermin Lopez, Dani Olmo, Pedri, and Robert Lewandowski. To begin with, Fermin, I give Fermin a 10. So I guess I could have given Eric Garcia a 10 also. But I give Fermin a 10.0 because he gets off the bench. He plays 50, 45 minutes, 50 minutes because he comes off for Rashford at halftime. And in those last 5 minutes of the game, or 10 minutes of the game, he gets 2 assists, one to Olmo and one to Lewandowski. Dani Olmo, I give him a 9.0. I like that Fermin and Olmo play together because usually it's one or the other. But Fermin, when Olmo comes in, Fermin ends up going to the left wing and does it really well. But he ends up setting up his players in a way where the first goal, he's in the middle. He's like a cam or almost a striker, lays it off to Olmo, who's coming in on the left wing, and Olmo finishes like a left winger with a right hook, a curler into the upper 90. And then the other one, Fermin is coming off the right where Lamine Yamal would be, centers it, and Lewandowski is there to chip it in, kind of tap it in. But it was like a tap chip. Pedri, I gave him an 8.0. I can honestly give him an 11.0. He comes in and all of a sudden we start playing differently. We start meshing. And to have Fermin, Dani Olmo, and Pedri on the same field, it's amazing. And that's why I feel like it's a little bit of a injustice to Rafinha. I would have liked to see Rafinha playing with these 3 players as opposed to Lamine Yamal, which he didn't do it bad. Lamine Yamal is not a bad player. And again, he's 18 years old. A lot of the attention goes to him strategically and tactically. So, nothing against him. But I do think that it's a little bit of a disrespect to Rafinha, who's an older player, more experienced veteran player, the captain. I think he could have stayed instead of Lamine Yamal. And then Lewandowski comes in, scores his goal, but it's been difficult for Lewan. Lewan is also considering, well, am I going to renew? Am I going to leave next season? That's a question. Let's talk about the goals really quick and the subs. The first sub was Fermin for Rashford. Rashford didn't do it well. I guess that was the move. It was the move. I think Rashford should have been off the bench, but again, this is what we're talking about with Hansi Flick. He had a game plan. He's like, you know what? I'm going to put my most techie players at the end. Maybe we have to get this game off at the end, and I'll put my fast, physical players in the beginning. And that's what he did, and it worked. But he gets subbed off right at halftime. Don't know what that's going to do for his morale, but he's an understanding player, so I'm sure it's okay. At the 63rd minute, Lewan comes in for Ferran Torres at the striker. Dani Olmo comes in for Gerard Martin. So Eric Garcia, let's look at it here. Gerard Martin, Eric Garcia goes back to the defense, and Dani Olmo plugs in here where Rafinha is. Fermin comes over here, and then the other sub was Pedri, who plugs in for Eric Garcia. Eric Garcia goes to center back. Fermin goes to left wing. And those were all the subs. It was just 4 subs. Hansi didn't use all 5 of his subs. A reminder that Christensen during this Christmas break tore his ACL or something close to it. I think he's out for 4 months. It's crazy. The guy does not get a break. He's been injured for the past 5 years. It's ridiculous. He will not be renewed. And now we're with 1 defender less. I think we did talk about this in another video. But same thing with Araujo. Araujo comes back from his sabbatical. We don't even know if he's going to stay, if he's going to be transferred, if he's going to go on loan. We don't know anything. But Hansi Flick is already asking for a transfer in, some type of loan or something, so that we have that extra center back that we're missing through Christensen. Fast forward to the 85th minute. Dani Olmo with that golazo, that curler. It's an attack led by Fermin through the middle. All right, so Dani Olmo, Fermin, Lewan. Okay, and let's just say this is Espanyol. All right. Ignore the numbers for Espanyol. But basically, this was the play. It's a counterattack. Fermin is off with the ball. So, like I said, Fermin was playing here and Olmo was playing here. But in this counterattack, going like this, and you have Lewan right here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Lamine was probably here wide. So that gives this player the attention on him. Lewan, as a striker, starts going this way. And what I thought Fermin should have done. Can I lower this? Right there, okay. What I thought Fermin should have done was this pass right here. This is the pass that I thought he should have done. What Lewan does is he drags this defender here, right? So then this defender, right here, this defender has to close in case Fermin's going to do something. Fermin lays it off to Olmo, and Olmo curls it. Boom, right here. And it was a golazo. Honestly, absolute golazo from Dani Olmo. Check this out. I got this today. Set this up today. So, it was one of these. Let's do it again. Boom. Dani, Fermin, Lewan. So, Dani here, Fermin here, Lewan here, and Lamine here. Okay? Alright. Boom, boom, boom. I might be missing a player or two, might be missing a few details, but this is what I remember the most from it. So, Lewan is here, goes here, right? And like I said, I thought the pass should have been here, but because he drags him, this guy has to pick up both. He's basically on a 2v1. I mean, he's going straight forward, right? I thought maybe he might shoot. I was hoping he wouldn't. I was hoping he would pass it here. What he does is, because this guy tucks in, gives it to Olmo, and Olmo, boom, right here. I guess this guy was a little bit more central because right here, right in this corner. Amazing goal, honestly, by Dani Olmo. The other goal was basically Fermin was over here. I don't know where Lamine was, but then you had Olmo and Lewan back here. The two defenders in front of them, they tuck back. Fermin here and passes it Centro de la Muerte right here. Boom. And Lewan makes it. So that's that. Let's go back to this. Okay. So yeah, pretty good goal. And Lewandowski gets his goal for the game. Very nice for him. Very good for him. And now we go to the Spanish Super Cup. We get to rest. Real Madrid plays tomorrow. We get to put pressure on Real Madrid. Real Madrid now has to win because with these 3 points, we are now 7 points above Real Madrid. Real Madrid have to play against Betis. Betis is a super complicated team, really good. Hopefully the GOAT Anthony comes to play. And hopefully, me as a Barca fan, I'm hoping that Real Madrid drops points tomorrow. Can they drop 2 points? We'll be up 6. Can they drop 3 points? We'll be up 7. And that will set them up for the Spanish Super Cup. The Spanish Super Cup is going to be huge because we play against Bilbao. Bilbao's not doing well. It's going to be tough because we already played them. They're going to be setting up some way to make it difficult on us. I don't think it's going to be as easy as what we had against them earlier. We won like 3-0 or 4-0, something like that. I don't think it's going to be that easy. I'm looking at a 1-0, 2-0 game or a 2-0 difference in margin, max, maybe 1. I'm looking at a 2-1 Barcelona is what I think can end up happening. But I do think Barca takes the game against Bilbao. Hopefully they go with the right mentality, not thinking that the game is over at the beginning of the game and thinking they won it without playing it. That would be a mistake. But that is happening. Meanwhile, Real Madrid has to play Atletico de Madrid. I don't know when Atleti plays. I have to check. Pretty sure they play tomorrow. But because they're in the Spanish Super Cup, they probably have to play tomorrow. So Atleti's going to play tomorrow too. Depending on how they do, is what that morale is going to look like. Real Madrid versus Atleti on, I think it's during the week, if I'm not mistaken. But But yeah, Barca now gets to focus on Bilbao, and they get to put the pressure on Real Madrid, who now has to win to stay just within 4. Like I said, if they lose tomorrow, they're behind 2.5 games from Barca, and we're talking about a different story. So really good, guys. Thank you for watching. Remember to comment. Remember to subscribe. I don't have that many people watching these videos yet. I hope that little by little, more and more people will watch them. But it would be awesome if you subscribe, if you liked it. I get some likes here and there. And if you comment. And I'm the type of person that, especially when I don't have that many comments, I'll highlight you guys. Like, you have a really good, important take, really interesting take, analytical take. You disagree with something I said. You agree with something I said. Share it on the comments, man, and we'll talk about it. I'll highlight it on the show, and we'll talk about it. And, who knows? Maybe it might be something really productive that some people can comment on the show and tell me what they think. But yeah, remember, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. All right. And thank you for watching. I'll catch you tomorrow for the Real Madrid game. All right. See ya.